You guys, happy hour is from 4 to 6.
Miss Kennedy, would you get me a medium dry vodka martini?
What a
Shaken, not stirred.
Hold on. I'm not hearing it right. Hold on. We got it now.
Is there alcohol in this?
Oh, God, honey, no. What kind of mother do you think I am? Why do you want a little bit? Because if you're going to drink, I'd rather you do it in the house.
Make it Suntory time.
Hello, everyone. How are we all doing today? I'd say we have, a lot of people think there's not a lot to talk about, and I'd say there's a few things that I do definitely want to talk about today. Before my lovely guest, actually Andrew, joins at 5. So hope you are all doing well. I hope you all had a wonderful Labor Day weekend if you were in the United States. Mine was pretty chill. I actually did not go to the movies this weekend. But if you guys did, I'd love to hear what you saw in the theaters this weekend. Or if you just decided to, barbecue it up or go to the beach or whatever, because that's what normal people do, I guess, for Labor Day weekend. So yeah, I'm going to just jump in the chat and then we're going to get into a few different subjects to discuss before my guest comes. So The Uninspired Reviewer, he has a great channel. His photo is a cat in a tuxedo, so that's pretty fantastic. So yeah, he has a great channel. I'll check it out. Won't be able to catch this live, but cheers. Yes, he's great. He streams a lot with Bagface and actually Andrew and Movie Snick and all of those. He's French and has a great, great input on a lot of things. Really great film analysis, I'd say. View with Drew. Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to the channel. Hello there. Dimension Scott. I didn't mean to not say your name. My apologies. Let's see what's going on, Tracy. Hope you're well. Hey Luke, I hope you're well as well. Yeah. Did you go to the movies this weekend? I have a feeling you probably did. But so if you did, I'd love to know what you saw. David, hello everyone. Hello to you as well, David. Hello. I'd say something else if movie season wasn't so fucking dry. I understand. It's with all the delays. I totally understand that. And but yeah, there's a couple things I do want to discuss in a moment. But thank you for joining, Tyler. He has a great channel too. Again, all these people do. I say that every time. I saw Equalizer 3 over the weekend and I really enjoyed it. So that is one of the questions I was going to ask everyone because I have not seen the first or the second Equalizer. If you have seen them and you've seen this one, do I need to see 1 and 2 to see the Equalizer 3? Because I do really like Denzel Washington. And it has like a very strong John Wick vibe to me. So that is intriguing. So I'd love to hear your opinions on that. Jason the Old Millennial, hello. What's going on, Tracy? Yeah, just chilling. It's happy hour. So happy hour to everyone that's here. Thanks for stopping by. Cheers. Maxfield Applegate, welcome one and all to my favorite happy hour. That's so nice. That's my boyfriend. And he actually helped me film something recently that I'm going to be posting on my channel this week. It's a very different video for my channel. And we had a lot of fun doing it. So, he was very helpful in that. Gran Turismo twice. Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, it's a good movie. I enjoyed it. David Harbour was really great. Thanks for the sub, Maxfield. Oh, wonderful. Happy to see everyone saying hi to each other. Hey, Laren, how's it going? Good afternoon. Everyone's saying hi. So I'm going to take a pause from the chat right now. So yeah, that was one of my thoughts, one of my questions for everyone. Did you see Equalizer 3? should I see it even though I didn't see 1 or 2? I usually never do that. But then when I wind up in this thing where like an entire franchise will pass me by because I kept waiting to see the other ones before the new ones. So yeah. So let me know if you think about what you think about that. Um, Another topic, we are in the we're right smack dab in the middle of the Venice Film Festival. A lot of the big films that we are all anticipating were shown. I think the Venice Film Festival goes till September 9th, such as, Maestro got an 8-minute standing ovation. That's Bradley Cooper's film. Spielberg and Scorsese were involved in the producing side of things. And it's about Leonard Bernstein. I really want to see that. You also have Saltburn, that is Emerald Fennell's newest film that premiered. Ferrari, Michael Mann's film with Adam Driver and Penelope Cruz, I think. Yeah, she's in that. A few other ones. I'm kind of at the moment blanking out. But also like Poor Things. I really want to see that. So all these things we've kind of been talking about leading up to, the Oscars. A lot of those films have premiered. If you are interested in seeing any of those films, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Not a lot of those films hadn't been seen until the Venice Film Festival, so that's pretty cool. I know some of the Rotten Tomato scores have already started to be posted. I'm a little hesitant because I know that's a very small demographic. So I think once we'll get a better idea once those films are released. And another subject, which is a very complicated subject matter, but it was a little controversial at the Venice Film Festival, was they actually had 3, I'd say, canceled directors' films shown. And it's, I believe it was Woody Allen, Roman Polanski, and Luc Besson. So, I'm one of those people that if a director gets canceled, I'm not going to stop watching their films because I really enjoy them. But it is a very delicate subject matter. I wonder how you guys feel in the chats. If you aren't familiar, well, I think you all are probably familiar with Woody Allen, Annie Hall, all of that, Manhattan, some of the best films, some of my favorite films, Midnight in Paris, Match Point. Luc Besson did Leon the Professional, The Fifth Element, and a few others. I feel like later in his career, his success at the box office wasn't the best, or his films weren't as well received. And then Roman Polanski, we all know from Rosemary's Baby, Chinatown. I mean, it's pretty much the list goes on. I actually watched a Roman Polanski film, I feel like 9 months ago, and it was the film adaptation of the play Carnage. Really fantastic. Really loved that one. Actually, Christoph Waltz is in that as well. Really nice role for him. I believe it was Jodie Foster and I'm trying to think of the other female lead in that one. It's essentially and John C. Reilly is in that as well. It's it's set up as a play, so there's a husband and wife and a husband and wife, and they're having a whole conversation. I think the one couple goes to the other couple's apartment because one of their sons bullied the other in the playground. So it's and that's kind of where the conversation starts. But the film adaptation was great. So, I'm not saying I'm telling people to support these directors. I'm not saying to not support these directors, but it did cause a lot of controversy at the Venice Film Festival. And I think Woody Allen's film is actually, I don't think I know, it is a completely French film, even with French dialogue, because he can no longer make films in the United States. So, it's something up to discuss. And it is a very complicated question. Let's see. Let's see here. Okay, the view with Drew. I'm gonna star this, and I will make sure we answer that question a little later on. So for what you saw, let's see. Jason, the old millennial, just saw Indiana Jones on the Dial of Destiny. Was not a fan. I'm not sure why they made it. I know. I'm not sure either. It's they thought they'd make money, I guess. I mean, it's such a mess over there. I actually personally didn't see it, but I had heard enough from people that I really admire and trust their opinions. I'm sure there are people out there that did like it. Someone told me they did recently, and they had a great time with their son because they were just lifelong Indiana Jones fans. But I know it hasn't been well received at all, and that's kind of a shame, since it is such a well-established IP at this point. I don't have any alcohol. I could and just drink Dr. Pepper. Well, cheers to your Dr. Pepper, Jason. Cheers. That's fine. No, I don't. And I feel like an alien because everyone's talking about One Piece on Netflix, Emmett. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. I literally have no idea what it is. I've been meaning to check it out though, just to find out what all the hype is, because it seems like it's like just everyone is on YouTube and Twitter is just they're all going nuts for it. So I actually have no idea what. David Harbour stole a show in Gran Turismo. He absolutely did. He absolutely stole it. And I really think his career is. I mean, it's just going to be blossoming even bigger. It's going to get bigger, bigger, bigger. I mean, he's been a solid working actor for so long now. I remember the first time I saw him was in Revolutionary Road. He played the neighbor that was married to Catherine Hahn. That was the Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet reuniting film that takes place in the 1950s drama. Sam Mendes, I believe, directed that. 3 days. Yeah. Well, let me think. Wednesday. Yeah, you're right. That is true. Thanks for remembering. Yes, he is. Okay. I'm still trying to catch up with summer movies. Yeah. Well, the good news is they're going to keep a lot of these movies in theaters since a lot of things got delayed. So you have a huge opportunity to, catch up on them if you want to see them in theaters still. They're bringing a lot back. So a lot of interesting titles. It'd be interesting to see once the award season comes around. I know. I'm so excited to see these films. I keep trying to get into the New York Film Festival, and it makes it seem like you have to spend like $400 and like do a special package to actually see any of the films. I'm not positive, and maybe I'm just misreading the website, but I think the website is kind of designed to get people to become members. I'm sure there's ways to get individual tickets though, because there's definitely a few I would want to see. Yes, that is. Yes, my birthday is coming up next on Friday actually. And actually next week I'm actually doing for my live stream, I'm having both the Bone Bridger and John Automates on. And we're just going to have like a fun kind of party live stream, because why not? And we'll talk about movies obviously. An unholy trilogy right there, particularly two of them. I'm guessing we're talking about when we Equalizer, unless I'm incorrect. Luc Besson was canceled. Definitely not a fan of Polanski or Allen. Yeah, I honestly recently only learned about the Luc Besson thing, and I a lot of things. The reason it's tough is that, like, a lot of it's like hearsay, and it's you just don't know. It's tough. I'm planning on doing a watch along for Asteroid City soon if you're down to join. Oh my goodness, that sounds really fun. If I can fit it in, I will I'll let you know, Luke. Good afternoon. I have a question. Have you heard of Godzilla? Yes, Cinema Geek, I have heard of Godzilla. I would say I'm not like the biggest it's not that I don't like Godzilla. I'm just saying I'm not like a super fan or very knowledgeable about all the Godzilla films. I think I've probably only seen like one or two. Whoa, that's really interesting. And I wonder if it's because the film is that bad or if it's just a political statement. I guess we'll just have to wait and see to find out. One Piece. Everyone is talking about this. I feel so stupid that I don't know what it is. I will check it out though. Thanks, Drew Gordon, for mentioning it. Live action One Piece is shockingly good, all things considered. Okay. Yeah, I will I'll check that out. In the meantime, we do have a Netflix DVD disc to open. I did say, oh yeah, I should talk about what I saw a little bit. I saw Marcel the Shell with Shoes On this past weekend, and it's precious. If you don't know about it, it's an A24 film that's Jenny Slate, the comedian. Her and her husband created like a short, like a really long time ago. And it's like was Marcel the Shell with shoes on. It's this little shell with sneakers, and she does the voice. Jenny Slate does the voice, and the film itself is fantastic. I highly recommend it. I forget where I watched it. I think it was free on like Paramount. Really fantastic film. I really highly recommend it. Also did a rewatch of Phantom Thread, the Paul Thomas Anderson film. So, and that was nice because I honestly feel like Phantom Thread just gets like way more enjoyable the more you watch it. It's just one of those because the end is so shocking that I think that like once you know what's happening or you know where it's going to go, you pick up on so many little things from the beginning of the film. Like something that like is an obvious thing. If you've seen Phantom Thread, the fact that when Daniel Day-Lewis meets her, she's a waitress. I mean, if you know the end, I don't want to spoil it for anyone here, but it's like, oh, okay, it's coming a little full circle here. And that really gave nothing away. I think that was a very vague ending twist description, or at least a reference to the film at the beginning. Okay, so this is a film that is called Kill Your Darlings, and it is from 2013. I have not seen this. I think that my boyfriend Max put this on, and it's. I think I heard the cast was pretty. I should look up the cast for this, but yes, Kill Your Darlings. I think it's like a psychological thriller. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I don't know if anyone saw this from 2013. Rated R. Kill Your Darlings. Now available on Netflix. DVD by mail only till it's canceled because I think it's coming soon. It's coming soon, but okay. Let's get back to the chat. I did see. What did I say I was going to watch last week? Was that On the Waterfront? I think it was On the Waterfront. I loved that. I think I already talked about that, but maybe not. I've been watching so many things recently that I get kind of they call blend in together sometimes. Oh, and then I watched Maximum Overdrive. Have you ever seen Maximum Overdrive? That is the one time Stephen King directed a movie. And apparently he was completely high on cocaine the entire time he was making this movie. And it's really bad. It's like stick to writing or like maybe don't do a film like that. And it's funny because it's so slow for like the type of film it is. It's about like cars, like trucks, monster trucks that start like trying to kill people. And I felt the pacing was it just went on and on and on. But it was fun to see because it was the one time Stephen King directed a movie. But yeah, he knows it's bad. He's been interviewed about it many times, and he's like, I didn't do a film ever again because of that movie, and everyone's really embarrassed that they're in that movie. Emilio Estevez is in that too. So that was quite the enlightening film to watch, I'll say. Live action One Piece is shockingly good, all things considered. Okay, yeah, everyone's talking about this. I know. I was not prepared. Drew Gordon said it's so cute how the common reviewer of One Piece is happy. It made me happy. LOL. It's pretty unique. Okay. Happy early birthday, Tracy. Oh, thank you very much, Laren. That's very kind of you. Godzilla is really popular in Japanese culture along with Ultraman. Have you heard of Ultraman? Yes, I do know that Godzilla is very popular in Japanese culture, but I do not know what Ultraman is. So I apologize in advance. Hey, KB, how's it going? I hope you're feeling better. You're not the only one that got COVID recently. Like almost, I feel like I know at least 5 people, KB, that did. There's definitely like a wave of that going around. So I really hope you're feeling better. Oh, I meant Polanski. Oh, the trilogy. Oh, okay. Yes, that makes sense. KB, everyone's saying hi. Also forgot to mention I got some Lego figures from Lego Marvel CMF Figure Series 2. Oh, well, I hope you're enjoying those. Ironically, Luc Besson was one of the few directors who didn't sign the letter of support of Polanski a few years ago and publicly explained why. He has daughters. That's hilarious. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that was before the things came out about Luc Besson then. Yeah, either way. I mean, again, I'm personally fine that they showed those directors' films at the Venice Film Festival. Because I just don't. I'm not as invested. But I wasn't a person affected by those people, so I don't know. It's a very difficult subject matter, I think. But I did want to bring it up because it was a big thing. 3 of these directors, 3 of these canceled directors got to show their films at the festival. Hello, Movie Cynic. Thank you so much for stopping by. Godzilla -1 looks great. Godzilla fans unite. Cool. Okay. I love hearing recommendations from you. So thank you so much for that. I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, I'm not like anti Godzilla. I'm just not as informed of the ones I should watch, I guess, because sometimes they look amazing and then sometimes they don't look the best. Um, and I remember seeing the Matthew Broderick one like as a kid. I actually should rewatch that because I can't actually say if it's good or if it's bad. Maybe someone in the chat would know because Drew Gordon, the movie cynic. Yes. Okay. Well, people are agreeing about this. Godzilla -1 looks great. So yeah, cool. Good to know. Hawkeye Hayoka edits. Man, finally caught alive. Hello. Well, thank you so much for joining. We only have about 8 more minutes until we get our guest on for today. I've recently seen a movie called Super 8, and I got to say that Super 8 is one of the best movies. And another fun fact, it's written directed by J.J. Abrams and produced by Steven Spielberg. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. And it's I actually think that's one of the one films I actually haven't seen by J.J. Abrams. So I mean, it's one of those that I should have seen. It's like right up my alley. So I'm not. You guys can be like, oh my god, how have you not seen it? I know. Don't just trust me. I know I should have seen this. Yes, that was when Spielberg and J.J. Abrams were very connected in a lot of the works. Spielberg was producing a lot for him at the time. Yes, it is so weird. Yes, it is Munchausen's and like reverse Munchausen's at the same time as well, because when both people are into it, then it's like, okay. Yeah, and then the stuff with his sister, I mean, yeah, there's so much. That twist I did not see coming at all. Especially because I thought like she would probably just, I guess we can just spoil this. I mean, I'm not actually, I won't spoil it, but I'll say I thought she was going to just kill him at that point. Like I didn't know that like this was going to be their routine, and it's so bizarre. But it works for them, I guess. That's the only time they're like in love with each other. Very strange. Hawkeye Hayoka edits. Yes. Love Maximum Overdrive. Haha, the AC/DC soundtrack rules. Yeah, okay. So that again, like the soundtrack for Maximum Overdrive and like the fact that we all know the state that Stephen King was in when he made this movie, it's just so ironic that the movie is so slow. Like there were so many opportunities just like cut this scene, cut that scene. Why are we having like this 15-minute conversation with Emilio Estevez and this woman that he has a thing for? It doesn't actually even further the script. Oh, and that poor woman, the one that does the voice of Maggie on The Simpsons, one of the most annoying voices, though, I have to say, like in this movie. I'm not saying her voice in general is annoying, but like the way they directed her to be so over the top and she's like screeching the whole time. I mean, and she has said she's embarrassed to be a part of that movie. I get that it's fun though, Laren. Like I totally get that. I'm just being critical as like why it's not good, because it is Stephen King. So but it is like I would say it's like a fun bad movie. Maximum Overdrive is in the Marvel multiverse. I bet. I wouldn't be surprised at some point. I'm surprised no one has tried to remake Maximum Overdrive. I mean, yeah, someone could actually do it a lot better because the concept's not terrible. Also, in the beginning of the film, they gave you this whole like backstory about this comet, and like you find out at the end what happened, and it was like an alien ship alien satellite or something that the Russians like shot down. And then it says at the end, all of the survivors survived. That's what it says at the end. I'm like, this isn't a true story, first of all. Second of all, like that, what does that even mean? It's just like I keep bringing this up about the Expendables 4 tagline is they'll die when they're dead. And it blows my mind. I'm sure I brought that up on here before. If I'm freezing or anything like that, just let me know. I don't think that I am, but I don't know. I feel like every other week I have another technical difficulty. Oh, it's on the rise, but I'm doing better. Thanks. Yes, I'm happy to hear you're doing better. Did you ever find Bugs Bunny attractive when he put on a dress and played Girl Bunny? No, I did not. No, but I do think Lola's hot. I think Lola Bunny in the first Space Jam was really hot. So, Drew Gordon, yes, this was like a decade ago when Roman Polanski got arrested in Switzerland. I think I think they're all just talking about what everyone did. What up, Dale? How's it going? Thanks so much for stopping by. I'm glad to see you here. And I asked this, early on when not as many people were in the chat. But if you guys saw anything this weekend, I'd love to know. Again, Equalizer 3, can I see it? Even though I didn't see the first two. And then my second question, I guess, because I didn't bring up Bottoms, but Bottoms came out this weekend. It's the actress from The Bear. I think that's the only actor I know in it, but I really love that show, The Bear, and I think she's great. She also was the voice of April O'Neil in the new Mutant Mayhem Ninja Turtles. So I've heard some good things. We'll see. It looks like just like an indie raunchy high school comedy. So who knows? But I'm just curious if anyone saw it. All I remember about the Phantom Thread was that I hated the Daniel Day-Lewis character. Well, yeah. I mean, but it's par for the course with that one. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Daniel Day-Lewis did write the script with Paul Thomas Anderson. That was like a very like collaborative project for them. And Daniel Day-Lewis thinks it's like he has referred to it as like his favorite film he's ever been in, and he thinks it's like his masterpiece. I don't know if he still feels that way, but I know when that film came out, that's how he did feel at the time. Yeah, very strange. The costume design is incredible. I think it only won best costume design at the Oscars, and rightfully so. Okay, that's the Matthew Broderick one. So yeah, let's see. I think everyone's agreeing here. Matthew Broderick Godzilla is an absolutely terrible movie. Okay, good. So I won't rewatch that. I'm glad I'm getting a lesson on Godzilla stuff today. That's good. That's why I like these too. I like learning from you guys. Because there's just a billion movies. So it's like, how many movies can one person see in a lifetime? So, you got to get, people to turn you on to new things. I love that. Hello, Jared. Thanks so much for stopping by. Everyone's saying hi. Maximum Overdrive was on Watch Mojo's 100 Worst Movies this last week. Yeah, it's really rough. There's and the dialogue doesn't even make sense either, which you'd think for Stephen King, since he's such an incredible writer. Like the whole diner is blowing up, and one of the characters is like, I think it's gonna blow up, and it's like, dude, it already blew up. What are you talking about? I don't know if it was like a weird editing choice, and he was so, because Stephen King said because he was like so coked out, he doesn't even remember that entire production. So he just directed it and like made a movie. But like stuff like that is just so ridiculous. I agree with the others. Godzilla 98 is awful. Call me crazy, but I didn't care for the Phantom Thread either. It's not the easiest film it's not the most digestible film. I will tell you that. And I think it was the second time I watched it that I really enjoyed it a lot more. I think this time around, I think this was the third or fourth time I've seen it. And it was to show Max, my boyfriend, had never seen it. And I am getting ready to do a video with a fellow YouTuber about Paul Thomas Anderson movies. So that was like the last one I needed to revisit. But I understand it's not for everyone. It's like Beau is Afraid. Like that movie is not for everyone. So I totally get it. J.J. Abrams was on the top of his game with Mission Impossible 3 and Super 8. And then he made Star Trek and Star Wars and ruined everything. Yeah. If there are any Lost fans, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because I actually never watched it. I think it was like the end was spoiled for me, and then I decided to just not watch it then. But I know a lot of people like that show, but then a lot of people also had problems with it. I'm going to put the chat on a hold here. I'm going to get ready for my guest because he's here. So I hope you guys are all ready to meet actually Andrew.
You guys, happy hour is from 4 to 6.
Miss Kennedy, would you get me a medium dry vodka martini?
What a
Shaken, not stirred.
Hold on. I'm not hearing it right. Hold on. We got it now.
Is there alcohol in this?
Oh, God, honey, no. What kind of mother do you think I am? Why do you want a little bit? Because if you're going to drink, I'd rather you do it in the house.
Make it Suntory time.
Hey, chat. Where is Film Girl? How's it going, chat? I'm here. I'm the guest today, I think.
You are the guest, but I
Oh.
can't figure out what the hell is going on with my camera right now. I was just talking about technical difficulties. Wait a second. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
okay,
there it is.
I'm so sorry about that. Oh my god.
It's fine.
I feel like every other week I have some technical difficulty with a video or the stream or whatever. So, my goodness. Thank you so much for joining.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
Yes, if you don't know who actually Andrew is, you can find him quite often on the Movie Cynic and Platoon's live stream, and he also does a lot of stuff with Bagface. You want to tell people a little bit about you and what made you get into film and things like that?
Oh yeah. So I'm on Slight Tomfoolery with Bagface. He was here a couple of weeks ago, I think last week or the week before. I have a show with him, and we have people on there. Mostly we have Uninspired Reviewer, and we just had Vex on last night or 2 nights ago. And then I do show up on BSIP a lot. So the joke is that I'm the most hated guest there just because I hated Indiana Jones and then they got really mad at me. But that's funny. Let's see. I've been doing YouTube. I started YouTube doing like stop motion stuff with Legos. And that was a while ago. And then I like within the last year and a half, I've been doing more film critique stuff, talking about film. I think how I got into film, and movies and stuff was mostly just like over time, just liking stories. And I didn't like books because I would have to read, so I just watched movies. So that's how it went for me.
Yeah, that's very admirable. I understand that. So I love that you saying you start off with stop motion animation. Are there any films that what would you say are like some of your favorite stop motion animation movies?
Stop motion. Well, there's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Mhm.
That's just a classic. And then you have the more recent Pinocchio movie on
Yeah,
Netflix.
Guillermo del Toro.
I like that.
Love it.
And then like the old Christmas stop motion short movies and stuff like that. Those would be on reruns during Christmas and I would just watch those. And I mostly just did stop motion because like I had a lot of Legos. So I was just like, I'll just start taking pictures of these a million times. And then that turned into making like 2-minute short films, like Star Wars related, like clone, silly films. Because I just like Star Wars. So I'm like, I'm going to make a little show about this. So
That's so cool. And I know exactly the Christmas things you're talking about. My boyfriend and I love the Rankin Bass. I think it was the
yeah.
of those. Yeah, we went on like a binge like one Christmas, and we watched the one that like no one watches, which is the Jack Frost one. And it is like bizarre, but yeah, those are so.
I think is that the one where it's Jack Frost versus like this hot guy? It's like North versus South.
I think well that's the
more
The Year Without a Santa Claus, I think, and that's with the Heat
Yes.
Miser and the Snow Miser.
Oh,
The
okay.
Jack Frost one, I don't think is that popular, and we just watched it, and it was like I can understand why it's not popular. So, did you see any of the? Well, there's only two of them. Except I haven't seen. Well, I'll just start with this. Wes Anderson's two stop motion, Fantastic Mr. Fox, and then Isle of Dogs. Did you see either of those?
No, I haven't seen any of those yet. I've seen clips from them and stuff.
I would highly
But
recommend Fantastic Mr. Fox to you. I think you would really like it. Isle of Dogs is fine. It's not anywhere near, I think. And I think the
mm.
chat would probably agree with that.
I've seen clips from those. They just look like Wes Anderson movies, just from how they're shot and framed,
Yes.
and the blocking on them is very Wes Anderson-esque.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like the way they did the way they did everything, though, I feel like the characters and the textures and the fur of everything just it really stood out as far as the production design. Must have taken hours, I feel like, to even just create them before they even shot them. So
oh yeah, that's the charming aspect of stop motion, because they're real things. And they're like, it's just like toys, and it's just real things being moved really slowly, and it's like the toys literally being put to life. That's why I like the Lego movies so much, because it's not stop motion, but it like when I watched it, I'm like, this is stop motion. I was like really young. I was like probably somewhere in middle school. So I was like, this is stop motion, right? And they're like, no, it's CGI. It's animated. So it's like they put so much effort into making the Legos look so imperfect. Like there's bite marks, there's like drop fall damage on the Legos, like scuffs on them. And and like they all move like Legos. I don't think there's an actual like I think every Lego character moves like a Lego character, like a minifigure would, and it's really charming for that movie.
I agree with that. And I did see something recently that when you saw Across the Spider-Verse. I think you're a huge fan. You've seen it like many
Yes.
times. So like that, yeah. So that like Lego section that's like it's kind of a spoiler, but whatever. It's really fun that it's in there. They actually had a kid who's like 15, I guess, was making videos. Yeah. So you know about this.
Yeah, so this kid made the trailer, but in Lego. And then Phil Lord and Christopher Miller were just like, "Hey, let's just get that guy to make a scene." So that's how that scene came about. Oh, and it's my favorite scene because it's really funny. Um, when Miguel calls him up and he's like, "Thank you, Peter. You're one of our best." It's just so funny.
Yes, and I love that. Oh my goodness, I'm blanking on his name right now. I love him so much. From Whiplash, and the one that plays the head of the newspaper. I'm so sorry, I'm blanking on his name. I want to say we were talking about J.J. Abrams, and it's a very similar type of name. He's reprised this role, yeah, in
J.K.
every
Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I had J.J. Abrams in my brain. I was like, that's not it. Very close though. Yeah, I love that he did that as well. I'm going to take a moment just to go to the chat really quick, and I'm sure they have some questions for you. Let's see here. We were talking about Equalizer 3. I don't know if you saw that this weekend, because
No,
I
I
did
haven't
not.
seen it.
No,
I
because
didn't see
I
it.
haven't seen the other ones, so I just didn't know if I should.
I'm not a big action fan.
Okay.
I mean, I can appreciate action. Like John Wick 4 was fun. But in terms of like my favorite genre, I don't think that would be it.
Now, a
Although
big
I don't
thing.
know if I have a favorite genre, like one. So
Okay. Well, a big thing that came up, and actually, Movie Cynic, a fellow friend of yours, was talking about this as well. Godzilla. Are you a Godzilla fan? Not a Godzilla person?
no, I have not seen. I
Okay.
don't think I've seen a single Godzilla movie.
Okay.
I've
Check.
seen my share of Godzilla was actually in a comic run called Shogun Warriors. Because my dad had them. He had old copies of comics. This is how I got introduced to superheroes. Was my dad had a lot of old comics, and just like he did with his Dr. Seuss books, he just gave them to me,
Oh,
and I would just
wow.
read them. So, a lot of my pop culture introduction has been through my parents or uncle, or grandpas or stuff. Like I got into Star Trek because of my uncle and grandpa. So
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm a big Dr. Seuss fan as well. Um, I haven't actually. I don't know if I've seen any of the Dr. Seuss film adaptations. I feel like my favorite book, one of my favorites, is the Lorax, but I never saw the movie version. I don't know if you have, but
I have vague memories of it. I don't actually remember all of it, but those books are hard to adapt just from an artistic standpoint because I feel like that was the wonder of his world, like his art style and also this just the feel of everything was very distinct, and I think that's very hard to adapt into live action.
yeah,
Which
I
is
would
why
agree
the
with that.
animated movie is probably the best one. The Cat in the Hat live action one
With
was like,
Mike Myers.
yeah, that one was like okay. But yeah, uh, Dr. Seuss is very good art, and he also has like he has he has a like a I think it's called the Midnight Collection. It's just
Hmm.
a bunch of art pieces he's made um that he like never wanted kids to see just because it's like they were more mature, and they're very interesting to see and look at. Um,
Wow,
a
I would
lot
love to check
darker.
that out.
Yeah.
I wonder if they ever. I'm sure they must have art exhibits of that. That they rotate from museums, but maybe not. Maybe.
I have no idea actually. I know they sell prints of them, and like that's like some of the only art that I've ever like wanted to buy,
Mm.
because they're just interesting.
This is a good question for you. I would say, do you think the Amazing Spider-Man movies deserve the hate they get from some people?
Um, they're fun to clown on sometimes. Uh, they it has the biggest sin those movies committed was uh not giving Andrew Garfield an actually good movie to act in.
Yeah.
I think the plot of all of those is just the plot of all two are bad, but the enjoyable part of it is Andrew Garfield, and that's why Andrew Garfield became a lot of people's favorite Spider-Man in Far From Home, or sorry, No Way Home, because he just had a he had a chance to be good in a good thing, um, and he was really good in No Way Home. Yeah, I think, do they deserve the hate? Um, I don't know. They're not as bad as like most stuff.
Right.
They're they're mid.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of people rank them as the worst Spider-Man movies, which is uh probably not true. Um, there are a couple that are probably worse. I mean, there's Spider-Man 3, so
Yeah.
that
Right.
exists.
I mean, I agree, and I think that one of the things that happened with that film, which I think is one of the problems with Marvel films, they get a director that is like more of an indie filmmaker, and
Mhm.
then they're like, oh, do you want to direct this huge multi-million dollar movie? Because Mark Webb, like 500 Days of Summer was like fantastic, and then like the next project he did was The Amazing Spider-Man. And I think that it's such a different type of filmmaking when you are working for big studios like that for these huge movies. And it can be very complicated.
Mhm.
I think I didn't even see the Eternals, but I know that's what happened with Chloe Zhao.
Yeah, I watched the
Yeah,
Eternals probably a year after it released. In terms of writing, yikes. Um,
yeah,
like the writing is just not good. A lot of the character acting is also not good. Um, I think it has a lot of interesting ideas. I compare it to like the Star Wars prequel trilogy. They're just awful movies that have really interesting ideas. Um, I think that's how I'd put uh Eternals in that category of just like god awful, but you had some good stuff in it, in terms of
okay,
ideas. And it's also it's pretty uh it's some of the shots are pretty good. A lot of the environmental cinematography is really good. And uh, actually, one of the Eternals is a speedster. And there's like one shot of her running, like running super speed, and I'd say like that's the best depiction of super speed
Hmm.
in pop culture, because it's like the Flash, he does his weird skating. You have Quicksilver, which everything goes slow mo, and like the Quicksilver thing is interesting, but with the I forget her name, but it's the speedster in Eternals, like she's running and it's in real time and she's going over mountains and stuff. It's like it's really interesting.
Wow. Yeah, well, maybe I'll watch it for that then, because that does sound
It looks good, but that's about it
okay.
for the movie.
Yeah. I just have to pull this up here. Hello, Lance. Thanks for stopping by. You're watching Curse of the Black Pearl and later Wreck-It Ralph. I liked Wreck-It Ralph a lot, and I think Curse of the Black Pearl. That's the first. If that's the first Pirates, it's pretty solid effort there. It's not amazing, but it was pretty good. They had and none of the other pirate movies actually were that good. But I like Wreck-It Ralph. Do you like Wreck-It Ralph? Have you seen it?
Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph is good.
Yeah. I have to pull this up because I have been running this change.org petition to get rid of the Regal Cinemas promotional ad that they play every time a movie starts. And this was not because of me, because I only had 15 signatures, but like literally after I did this and a couple people were putting articles out after that, they're not doing it anymore. We're all celebrating.
Really?
Yeah, we are so happy.
My cinema does that too. They play an ad for like their theater. I don't know what the Regal situation is, but I feel like it's a similar.
Do you go to AMC?
No, I go to UHC.
Okay.
Pretty much the same, just different letters. They're just like, look, we have popcorn. It's like, I know, I'm in the theater.
Yeah.
I'm sitting where you want me to be. Please, I paid $7. Let me see the movie.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think a lot of people were comparing this ad to the Nicole Kidman ad for AMC, which was like a very classy event type of thing, like made you excited to see the movie you're going to see, and this was just horrendous. So we're all happy it's not a thing anymore.
If it's just like a presented by AMC theaters or something like that for like 3 seconds, cool, whatever.
Right.
But
It
like,
doesn't need to
don't
be
go on for like 2 minutes, because whenever I see that, I just go to the bathroom to make sure that my bladder's empty for the movie.
Yes. Oh, these are when you were on by yourself.
Oh,
yeah, it's the
hey.
Andrew show. Yep. Everyone's saying hi.
That'd be a nightmare for Bisup.
Where's Tracy and what did you do with her? Yep, I'm still here. Oh, okay. This is yes, let's hear for Chicken Run 2 and the return of Aardman animation. We just watched the trailer for that today. Do you know what Chicken Run is? It's that British I forget the name of their
I've
company.
seen I think I've watched like half the movie. But yeah, I like that. Like the claymation type
Yes.
stop motion. Oh man, like what is it? Shaun the Sheep, that movie, and
Oh
then
yeah.
that TV series that he had. I watched those as a kid, and I liked them because there was barely any dialogue that I remember.
Okay.
And it
Yeah.
was just visual storytelling. And that's kind of what I wanted the Mario movie to be. Just no dialogue or barely any dialogue. Because Mario doesn't talk in the game a lot.
Right.
So, which is a tall ask, and I don't think Nintendo would do that because it wouldn't appeal to absolutely everyone like they wanted to, and it probably wouldn't make $1 billion. But yeah, I'd like to
You
see
should do a
that.
Lego version of Mario. You could.
Yeah.
You could make your own short for that. That
Yeah.
would be cool. Just agreeing with you, David here. Nightmare Before Christmas is amazing. Yes, we all love that. And actually, are you a Coraline fan? I know it's same director, Henry Selick. I think it's
I
Selick.
feel like I've watched that, but I don't remember anything from it. And I did
Cool.
hear that is Coraline coming back into theaters? I heard that somewhere.
It is,
Um,
yeah, yeah. I
I
actually
might
I wanna see it.
I might go see it again just to
I saw it in
remember.
theaters when it was 3D, and I don't think they're doing that now, but I remember I saw a 3D version of Coraline in theaters when it first came out.
They
Which is
did that
wild.
movie in 3D. That's a lot of
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. That was part of the 3D phase of, like, they
Yeah,
wanted to
there
make
was
everything 3D.
that was a big gimmick. Do they even do 3D movies anymore? I know my theater doesn't.
Just
Um,
Avatar, I think. That was the only one. Oh,
ah,
wait, when they re-released Titanic, wasn't that 3D as well? I think
yes.
so. They re-released Titanic, like, right
How do you
after
make?
Avatar for, like,
Because
Valentine's Day.
you have to shoot a movie in 3D in order to make it 3D. I wonder how they do that with like Titanic and stuff.
I think there's a way to adapt it, because sometimes there are films that they say like it wasn't shot for 3D, but they will like make it after the fact in
Mhm.
post production. I don't know. It sounds like such a pain to be able to do that, but and it's not even
Yeah.
worth like I just don't even think it's that worth it.
I know
Um,
4D is the new gimmick now.
I haven't done one yet. Have you?
No, but Cynic he keeps doing it, and he tells me, and he's like, "I went to see this movie in 4D, and it was terrible." And I'm like, "Yeah, stop doing it." What movie did he do that for?
I'd love to know.
Because I know it was a terrible movie, and he was just getting like thrown around in his seat. Can't remember
That's
what it.
so
I think
funny.
it might have been like Fast X or something,
There's
which would be.
a
I'd actually see Fast X in 4D. That sounds really stupid.
There's a comedian that I love, Mark Normand, and I literally just watched this today. I love that you brought up 4D because he said, I saw Oppenheimer in 4D, and I was like, wow, this is like a ride at an amusement park. I want to just stay at the movies and see another film. And he's like, well, what else is playing? And they're like, everything's sold out except for Bros. So he went to see Bros, and that's the whole joke that it was 4D because it's yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was quite funny. But yeah. Let's see. This is a question for you because everyone keeps talking about this. I have no idea what it is, and I feel like an idiot because I keep seeing it
So
on Twitter and stuff.
yeah, so One Piece is is an anime slash manga. Which I don't watch anime. I'm not. I have no knowledge about One Piece other than like the One Piece is real meme that was like a couple years ago that was circling around. Um, but I have watched the first episode. I think it's pretty good. Um, it's very unapologetically anime in terms of the style. Like I think the first pirate ship you come across is like this heart themed uh ship with like everyone's wearing like either pink or purple. It's weird. But yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. Um, and it's just like Japanese pirates in
Okay.
terms of like the atmosphere of it. Um, and it's goofy. Yeah, it is very goofy. And I like it.
Very
Yeah,
yeah.
the dialogue is very absurd. But it's like a RoboCop scenario where everything they're saying is so stupid, but it makes so much sense for the world. So
I'm definitely interested, and I'm glad you explained it like that because you see something kind of go viral, and you're like, what is this? And then I didn't actually look into it, so that was a really good explanation. So this
also
person,
they do
Hawkeye. Oh, sorry. No, you can continue.
they do a lot of like these 16 millimeter lens close-ups on faces, so the face is really warped. And they're using a lot of like 16 to 25 millimeter lenses throughout the whole
Oh,
thing for like dialogue scenes, and it's like this shouldn't work, but it is, and I don't know why. um I think that was what
wow.
me and Bagface talked about that, and we're like, yeah, we both don't know why this works. So
No, that sounds really interesting. This
and the
person was
action is very good too.
oh,
So
well, that's great. Yeah, I'm not the most familiar with anime in general, so like things like this, I feel like are good stepping stones for that. This person checked out your channel, and there's a follow up question to this. So, He said you really had a positive review of John Carpenter's Halloween. Obviously, that's a great film, fantastic. He wants to know what else, like what did you like? I'll put it on you for 2 seconds. What you liked this year? I'd love to hear you recommendations of, and they don't have to be in theaters. It could just be stuff you watched. And I'll put you on for this.
Okay. Films I liked this year. Wait, wondering if there were any other films that Andrew enjoyed. So I'll give you my top 2 that I know that are my favorite. Number 1 is The Fellowship of the Ring. That movie is like one of the only movies that I give a 10 out of 10. That movie's really well paced, really well articulated, very good. I cannot stress this enough. That movie is very good. And I grew up watching the television version, which was really, really cut a lot of stuff. Because when you put on movies for TV, you cut out a lot. And the movie's already long. So I went from the TV version, and then I was like, all right, I'll pick up the theatrical version. So I picked up the theatrical version of Fellowship. And then I was like, wait, there's an extended edition? So I bought the extended edition. And it's very good. I really like Lord of the Rings. I know that's a basic take, but I really like it. In terms of other movies that I like, Into the Spider-Verse would be my second favorite movie. And then my other top 10 are kind of just like everywhere. There's a movie that I really like. It's called Detachment. I like that movie. I don't know where I'd put it in my top 10. And then you throw like Star Wars in there. I'd say Empire's my favorite Star Wars movie, but if Andor was a movie, that would be my favorite, because I think Andor is really good. So
Very good to know. Yeah, it's funny you brought up the Lord of the Rings extended edition. I watched the first extended edition, and I didn't realize why there was like the movie ended and then it was another, I don't know, 17 minutes. And then if you watch the credits, it's like it is 17 minutes of people that joined a special club and they got their names listed as being super fans of Lord of the Rings. And it goes on forever. Like
Mhm.
I kept fast forwarding just to see how long it was. It is exactly 17 minutes of just listing people's names, which I thought was hilarious. We have a question for you this is actually for you. There's a Rankin Bass podcast on all their works if you're interested, called Rankin on Bass. Very fun.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, you'd probably like that. Rewatched Beau is Afraid yesterday, and it might be one of the best of the year now. How did it make you guys feel on a rewatch? I didn't rewatch it yet. Did you see Beau is Afraid?
I still have not been able to get to see that.
Yeah.
So I've heard it's very good though.
It is, but it's like it's definitely not for everyone. So some people definitely, I'm sure, would hate it. I'd love to hear. Okay, so now I guess he's saying because he rewatched it, he even enjoyed it even more. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to get a lot of Oscar attention. I think the only thing it might get would be Best Supporting Actress for Patti LuPone. I would be kind of shocked if that was not if her performance wasn't recognized. Sup, Andrew, digging the art books behind you.
Thank you. Yeah, I have the art books for Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, very nice.
So they're very interesting in terms of like looking at concept art. I love concept art for movies, live action or animated, and also like storyboards. I'm really into those.
That's awesome.
So
Amazing Spider-Man movies just forget what Spider-Man actually is and tries too hard to be a romance drama. Yeah, I could kind of see that.
yeah, I think Emma Stone being, well, the problem is they introduced Gwen Stacy, and it was very obvious that like after Captain Stacy dies, it's like, okay, so she's gonna die in either the next one or the third. So it kind of was, that's what everyone was thinking. They're like, okay, she's gonna die. And it kind of spoils it because like Gwen Stacy's death is like the most famous death in all of comics.
Yeah.
Because of how just it happens.
Hmm.
So it was very obvious that it was going to happen.
And I think they did that death scene really well.
Hmm.
But I think it was they maybe put too much um, thought about how we're going to make audiences feel about this specific scene from the first film into the second. It almost felt like there was too much emphasis on that in writing the films to just make sure it's like people would probably you didn't have to do that. People will care regardless because if you do the scene well, like they did, you didn't have to just put the focus on their romance as much.
Yeah.
So favorite use of stop motion in live action film, RoboCop, The Terminator, Evil Dead. Those are examples, or Evil Dead 2, I would say. Do you have any certain instances?
I recently just watched RoboCop like a month ago. So that's my most recent memory. Did they do stop motion in the Star Wars original trilogy? I feel like they didn't, but I can't remember. Maybe with like some beast, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But the stop motion in RoboCop is pretty good.
Yeah.
So that'd probably be mine.
Jason and the Agronauts and Coraline are two of my favorite uses of stop motion. I don't know Jason and the Agronauts.
I have not heard of it either.
No, it makes I definitely want to check that out though. I have to mention Clash of the Titans from 81 for the stop motion. Medusa is so creepy. I've heard that actually, because I know they remade that, I think, in the early 2000s or mid 2000s. You just see the original Clash of the Titans. I don't know if you have, but
I have not seen. I think I think I saw the newer one, but I didn't see the 81 one.
Andrew, you have a great eye for cinematography. Was wondering who are some of your top cinematographers. For example, I love Roger Deakins' work from Blade Runner 2049, Sicario. Yeah, I mean, Roger Deakins, 1917, I think is just phenomenal cinematography.
Roger's good. There's Greg Fraser, who did Dune, which was really good, and then he did the cinematography for the Batman, and that is really good. I've seen most of his work, and he also did Mandalorian. So, and also, didn't he invent the volume? Like invent that idea, that concept?
I believe that sounds very familiar to me. Yeah.
Which is cool in terms of his use of it, but later down the line, people don't know how to use it. So then you get Kenobi, which is it's like I saw someone compare Greg Fraser to Oppenheimer, like in terms of you made something that has destroyed like a segment, like a cutout of like all of like practical effects because now studios are just like, yeah, let's use the volume.
That's good. That's really
and
good.
You just get a lot of misuses of it. So
yeah. I know 3D was done in the 50s, so it's a phase that goes in and out of. Yeah, it does. It's definitely one of those things people are drawn to, and then they're like sick of it, and it's kind of.
I think I watched Toy Story 3 in 3D.
Oh my god! Did you cry even harder?
Nah, I was a kid, so I was just terrified.
Oh.
Yeah. I think I just took the glasses off after a couple minutes. I was like, this is stupid.
Have you seen Toy Story 3 as an adult?
Yes.
Okay, because did the ending hit you a lot more?
Yeah. When I originally watched it, I'm like, this is stupid. Why is he giving up his toys? And then I watched it as an adult, and I'm like, oh, real.
Yeah, definitely. Just because people are on this, they're saying what they saw in 3D, Jurassic Park in 3D. That might have been kind of cool, actually, just for that movie specifically. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in 3D. That's interesting. Oh, thank you, Caveman Movies and More. Yeah, absolutely. Hit the like button. That really helps us out here. I know. I think I did see you and Bagface discuss this film. I think we all kind of. I think we're all on the same page with this movie. Like it was fine. It just wasn't amazing.
Yeah, it's the best DC EU movie. Like if you compare all of them, except for like the Suicide Squad.
Right. Right.
because the Suicide Squad's really good.
Yes. James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
Yes, not
Yes.
the other one. So yeah. Yeah, and it's all like that movie's fine. You can definitely tell it was shot for streaming because the most of the dialogue scenes are shot like medium to close up shots. A
Mm,
lot of the establishing shots are really close in, which is world building is a big problem with that movie, and
yeah.
part of that is because of the establishing shots. So
I you know what I thought about this too, because when I watched it, I know the world they're trying to portray is Miami, very similar to
mhm.
Miami. Just like Gotham is, I think Gotham's supposed to be Chicago.
Chicago or Detroit, one of those two.
Yes, yes, and then Metropolis is New York. But I found like, why didn't they just shoot it in Miami? Like I don't know why they
Yeah.
had. They could have shown that city. That would have been great for
Mhm.
me. They could have just added some CGI, billboards or some the neon lights that they wanted to have. I thought that would have paid off a lot better, and I feel like that would have been so much cheaper just to shoot Miami, like
Yeah.
for all those city shots.
Yeah, I do get like tired of it when people make up random cities and they don't capitalize on it. Um,
Yeah.
like something that I'm worried about in the next Superman movie is how they use Metropolis, because Metropolis in like the Snyder movies was just New York.
Mm.
So if Metropolis gets the Gotham treatment from the Batman, I think that could be really good in terms of like showing a lot of the city.
Yeah, and it's funny because for Gotham, even though it is supposed to be Chicago, they use New York a lot, and they were just filming. Not just, I guess it was last year. They were filming the Penguin series for HBO, or Max, what it's called now. And they shot a lot of that here. Even the Joker, that was filmed mostly in Newark, New Jersey, which is very close to Manhattan. It's interesting that they're trying to do Chicago, but it's every time it's like very New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's see here. We've got a few people. What would Okay, this is a question for you, so we should address this. Andrew, I'm curious, what would your favorite Rankin Bass special be? Sorry to divert the conversation.
I'm gonna have to look up their filmography because I don't remember any of the names of them.
Right. The Rudolph one's good, I feel like.
Rudolph one's fun.
Yeah.
They made Frosty the Snowman.
Oh my God, that's the weirdest one. So every time a snowman is born, it says happy birthday to himself.
Yeah, I was thinking about that recently. I'm like, you put the hat on him and he's sentient?
Yes.
Where so is the hat sentient and it's just like possessing this snowball?
Yes. Because then the Mr. Snowman or Frosted Snowman has a wife, and then they have two kids, and the two babies are like, they come alive and they're like, happy birthday to like, they both say that. So
Yeah, it's one of those like franchises that just has such weird premises. Like Thomas the Tank Engine.
right.
Um Very weird premise and like world building, because it's like in that universe, uh what's the Sodor, the island, is like the only island where steam engines exist now, and it's like that's like the refuge place of all of them.
Oh my
Um
God.
and they've been like complete, it's like Order 66 but with steam engine trains.
Wow.
Um yeah, there's a video on YouTube. It's like the disturbing lore of Thomas the Tank Engine. Um
Now,
and
are
it's just
you
so bizarre.
are you a fan, bigger fan of the George Carlin era of Thomas the Tank Engine, or the Ringo Starr era of Thomas the Tank Engine? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, they both hosted that show. So
I liked George Carlin better.
I asked you that question because I don't know if you've ever gotten these. I'm sure everyone has gotten these, like these like chat bots that text you, and they're kind of like sexy chat bots. And I knew it was fake, so it was like pretending to be some like hot girl that's messaging me. And so I just kept chatting with it, but I kept asking like what their favorite era was of Thomas the Tank Engine, and I was going on into reasons why the Carlin era was great and why the Ringo Starr and the thing got so frustrated. It's a trip if you ever try to like actually have a conversation with those things. Let's see. Saw the Batman Mask of the Phantasm hit 4K disc. This deserves a revisit. I don't know if I saw that.
I've seen some of it.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a 2D animated movie, right?
Yeah.
Got released in theaters, which is crazy.
I'm not positive. I guess maybe. This year has been great for classic animation in 4K. Mask of the Phantasm and Snow White will be out later. Cinderella and the Prince of Egypt are amazing on the format. Big wins for animation fans. Yeah, I would say so.
Snow White just got on 4K?
Yeah, I think they're trying to do that. So I've had this conversation a lot, actually. So the fact that yes, so Snow White is one of the most like important movies ever made because of the animation at the time. And with all the controversy with the live action one, I get why they want to, re-release it in 4K, but then everyone's going to watch the original version and then even be more critical of the new one that comes out. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, wait, why don't we just keep this one instead of why are we, messing with what's already great?
Yeah. And especially since Rachel Zegler is Snow White, a lot of people are unhappy. And then on top of that, just the thing she's saying is crazy.
It is.
Luckily, the strike happened, so she can't say anything anymore. So
yeah, that's
that's a win for
true.
Disney.
That's very true. Yeah, I've been really appalled by a lot of the things that she's said, and I think she's probably just surrounded by a lot of yes men, and they're not actually telling her what reality is. The one quote too about how about she should be getting paid extra because she's in that like or an hourly rate on top of her pay because of being in that dress for Snow White. I'm like, do you know how lucky you are? And like the only reason you've been cast in this is because you lucked out and got the lead in Spielberg's West Side Story, which there's hundreds of thousands of talented Latino women that could have played that role, and then their careers would have escalated after that. And it's like, what are you doing? You don't seem grateful at all, and I really don't like that.
Yeah, and she's in the new Hunger Games movie, the prequel. Oh boy.
Yes, she is. And I just found this out. Was it supposed to be a musical?
The book is a musical, or there's a lot of songs in the book.
Okay.
They could do the Lord of the Rings route where they entwine the songs from the books into the score of the movie, but that will most likely not happen. I'm not expecting them to be that thorough in their adaptation. So
right, yeah.
Also, I don't even know if people care about Hunger Games anymore.
I don't know if they do either. I know that I guess that book came out fairly recently, so it's like the prequel book, I guess. But I was talking to I think Bone Bridger and John Automates about this, and they said because I was like, doesn't the writer, like the author of the Hunger Games series, have the same say as someone like J.K. Rowling? Because someone like J.K. Rowling has full creative control over everything that goes out, which is what a writer should have, I think. And if the writer of the Hunger Games doesn't have that same power, that's really crazy to me. This is explaining what this was. Jason and the Argonauts is a Silk and Sandal movie from the 60s with stop motion handled by Ray Harryhausen. Oh, that sounds really cool. I would be into checking that out. This is about Frosty the Snowman. Yeah, we have no idea. It's it's a thing. Happy birthday. Here we are. Sorry, I'm just getting these. Back to Thomas the Tank Engine. Ringo did it only did it for the first season. Carlin really owned the role.
Carlin's voice is just better.
Yeah.
He's just a better
Yeah.
voice actor for the commentary.
Yes. Absolutely. George Carlin over Ringo Starr and everything except drumming, maybe. Snow White 7 Doors will be on 4K in October. I'm sure the restoration took a while. Yeah, I'm sure, because I mean, it's from 1939. I want to say. I think that movie
Yeah.
was made. Yeah,
Isn't that the movie that made Disney?
it
Um,
it is. Yeah, it's their first. It's the first full feature length animated
yeah,
film ever.
made
So
with like 8 million budget, made 200 million or something above that, I think.
wow, that's incredible. So I wanted to ask you, are you looking forward to anything coming out? We did discuss the Venice Film Festival earlier, which a lot of the Oscar season films we've seen. I mean, a lot of them have premiered in theaters. Like Oppenheimer, but those were this was the first time actually people got to see like the more anticipated films for the Oscar season, like Maestro and The Killer, which is David Fincher's new film, as well as Michael Mann's Ferrari. So there's quite a few things. Yorgos Lanthimos has Poor Things coming out with Emma Stone. Anything that maybe you're looking forward to?
Well, I was looking forward to Dune.
Yes, I know.
And then that got canceled or moved, and I was just like, all right, I hate everything now. But the Napoleon looks interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
yes.
Poor Things, I've seen images that looks interesting. Ferrari looks interesting. So I'll probably be watching all of them. So
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm really excited for Napoleon. I think Joaquin Phoenix, I think this year with those two films, Napoleon and Beau is Afraid is epic. And then next year we're getting, the Joker Part 2, which is fantastic. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I'm excited to see. And I think Killers of the Flower Moon, the Scorsese
that
film,
one too. Mhm.
that wide release, as soon as Dune pulled out, they were like, we're gonna just do a wide release. They weren't gonna even do it. They were gonna do a limited release, which is kind of
Yeah.
stupid. But it's
Is
in Netflix.
Apple right?
Oh,
Apple
Apple. Yes,
owns
I'm
them?
sorry, Apple. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do that with most of their movies, right? They limited release for like a month.
Yes.
But now it's full length, so that's good.
It's really good. And that release is definitely also so like they can get like the limited release that you were referring to is definitely so they can be potential candidates for award season. Because I think you have to have your movie in theaters for at least like a week or two. I'm not positive exactly,
Mhm.
but it's like one of those. So no need for another Hunger Games movie, but maybe that's just me. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, like even people like my cousin, who she was like, "Hey, do you want to go see Barbie?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." She's a big fan of Hunger Games, and she has not said a word about this movie coming out. I also don't know. I don't even know if people know about it because I barely know about it. I haven't even gotten a trailer like shown up on my feed yet. Um, I just know the name. It's like Songbirds and Snakes. I don't know what that means, but okay,
That sounds very Game of Thrones.
it does.
Songbirds and snakes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a trailer for it. I don't remember what film it was over the summer. The only thing that intrigued me, because I remember the trailer started and I was like, oh, I don't care. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, Peter Dinklage plays the creator of the Hunger Games. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. Which is ironic since both Rachel Ziegler and Peter Dinklage are in the same movie, with all that controversy regarding, you know, that's I've brought this up so many times. It's like it's a good thing they can't have a premiere because the two of them on the red carpet, I feel like that's all they would talk about, like, or like they would be asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, uh, Walt Disney made the first animated short with sound. Yes, that was the Steamboat Willie, I think.
Mhm.
Um, setting transfer. Yeah, animation. Um, I hate everything now. Finally, a take I can get behind. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I like, man, you know that scene in like Order 66 where Yoda like force senses the like everything going on and all the Jedi dying and he like has a heart attack and like falls. That's how I felt when I saw that Dune 2 got canceled. I'd like just took a deep breath and was really depressed.
What do you think that power play is? Because it was a power play by Warner Brothers regarding the strike, and
Yeah.
I don't really understand what is your take? I'd love to hear that.
Well, it's their biggest card this year, in terms of what they have on hand. Because like Aquaman, if they delay Aquaman, it's like, okay, the first one made
Right.
$1 billion, but like DC as a brand, like you've ruined it. Like after Flash, nobody cares. So they're not going to delay that, and they'll probably just use December as an excuse of be like, oh, it didn't make money because we didn't have the actors to go promote it. That's just going to be their excuse, like everyone else that has a movie flopping during the strike. And then, yeah, Dune 2 is their only movie that is like the most hype for it. Like the actors, I don't think the actors care for that movie, or like they matter for that movie, because like the biggest actress or actor in that movie is probably Zendaya or Florence Pugh. Timothy Chalamet's a poll, but I don't think I don't think I don't think Timothy has the pull yet.
No, I agree with you. It's odd to delay this film, especially because it's a part 2, because it's like, you don't even really need to do a lot of press. I'm sure every movie you saw this summer, you saw the trailer for. So
Mhm.
it's a shame. I mean, they had a huge hit with Barbie, obviously, but I saw how much Warner Brothers is in debt, and all the success of Barbie is not actually going to. I mean, it's helping, but I think they still owe like $50 billion or something. It was like something. It was the craziest number I'd
How?
ever heard.
Man, they're
Yeah, it
so
was
bad
like
at
outrageous.
business.
So, yeah. So, I feel like, and I'm sure you feel the same way too. You were talking about Aquaman. There was no teaser or a trailer or anything for Aquaman in front of Blue Beetle. Like that would be,
Yeah.
wouldn't you expect even a little teaser?
Yeah. Or just do like a cameo like the Flash did. I haven't even seen that yet. I walked out of the theater as soon as the credits started rolling. I was like, I do not care. Um,
Yes.
I think Flash might be my most hated movie of the year.
Oh,
Um, I hated that movie so much. um,
I didn't hate
so
it, but I understand why people did. But I think
yeah,
there were a few things that I did like with some of the emotional beats with the mom and stuff, and some of the double what would you call that? Like it's almost like the parent trap. I want to call it like that, where it's some of the stuff was really. There are some shots that are really wonky, and it's not the CGI artist's problem. It's really the studios and the money and where it's being spent and not getting to
yeah,
them, and
yeah.
it's really a mess. So, um, there's a thing here. Yes, I feel like Dune 2 could have done well, even if the strike was going on at the point. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and the first one has such good word of mouth.
Yes.
Because people were comparing it to Lord of the Rings in terms of faithfulness to the book, and like how well it adapted it. I haven't seen the book, or I haven't read the book, but I've heard people say it's pretty accurate. So, which is surprising because it's Dune. It's like one of the most. It's probably, other than like Lord of the Rings, it's one of the most hardest books to adapt. In terms of ideas, like later in the book series, like Paul Atreides becomes a worm or something.
My goodness.
He becomes a sandworm or something. I don't know. Platoon said it. He said it. I take it
That
as fact.
that reminds me of The Watchmen, and why, because the Watchmen was so faithfully adapted to the graphic novel, but Zack Snyder changed the end because that like giant squid thing that attacks Manhattan in the graphic novel just like wouldn't have translated well. So he went with the other route, and I think the other route's fine. And then in the HBO series, it's like they discuss the squid attacking Manhattan as like an after, like it happened in the past. And it was like, oh, the event in Manhattan, and it was, one of those things. But it is sometimes really difficult to depict certain things that are written, for the screen, like such as that. I don't know the budget for Aquaman 2. I don't know if you do.
I'll search it. It's probably a lot.
Yeah.
205 million.
Wow.
I
I
can
know
see
they
it
did some
going at.
releases.
I can see it getting to 500, but I don't think it's gonna make a billion. So, um,
I'm curious to see just I have actually I don't actually want to see this movie, but I'm going to see it. I'm really curious to see how they dealt with the Amber Heard thing. So I think there's like 3 minutes of screen time. So I'm just, and she had a huge plot, I guess, in the original film. So
yeah, and also this like there's 3 reshoots going on,
yeah,
or they were denied for a 3rd or 4th one, which is yikes. Um,
I know, and I wish James Gunn would be a little bit more vocal about Aquaman 2 and like what its
mhm.
purpose is.
Yeah, I think it is. Man, ever since he's taken over, it's just like all these movies are just like keep coming out, and it's like nothing's changed since he's come out, other than like making a new Superman.
Right. And I
Um,
definitely understand, these movies were already in progress before
yeah,
he joined the team, but he's not really like solidifying what the vision is, I feel like, as
yeah,
strongly.
no. Um, he said that like Flash was gonna reset the DC universe, and it didn't.
No.
It ended, and nothing happened. We saw CGI dead people. So, uh, but that's about it. Like Aquaman showed up. Is that the teaser for Aquaman?
I Hey, actually that's a great joke. That's like a fantastic joke actually. The teaser for Aquaman. Um so I wanna we're getting towards the end here. I want to just pick your brain about any films that you really love. I never ask people what their favorite movie is because I hate that question because it
Yeah,
changes all the time.
I just came up with a default answer.
Ah, what
Just
is that?
because Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay,
I
cool.
think that movie is it's one of the only movies I give a 10 out of 10. Um, there's very few movies that I do, and I don't like ranking things, but I just do it anyway, just to like for like comparison reasons. Like, where do I put it up against with another one? It's what I've been doing with Andor recently, because the consensus is Andor is the only good thing that Disney Star Wars has made, and it's like, yeah, I think it's like really good. Um, but like I'm rewatching it, and like the more I think about it, the more I think it's better than Empire Strikes Back, and that it is just the best Star Wars story.
Wow.
Um, have you seen Andor?
I have not, but I've
I think
heard.
it's
I,
really
I know
good.
you and Platoon really like it. Yeah.
Yeah, people say it's boring. I think that that speaks more to people's attention spans than the actual quality. Because
It's
like
hard for something
it's
to be boring for me, so I would
yeah.
probably agree that.
I think the weakest part is the first 2 episodes. Um, there's like some flashbacks and some non-linear storytelling. I'm not a fan of flashbacks. And I also had just PTSD from Book of Boba Fett because it did flashbacks terribly. Um, so uh, I the first 2 episodes are the weakest, but they are still very good. Um, and then like it's just like the monologues in it. You get like just brilliant monologues from characters, like the desperation of the rebellion forming, because the rebellion isn't formed yet, like properly. Um, so and also Mon Mothma's character is really fleshed out. Because like in the original trilogy, she really wasn't anything. She was just kind of like the leader of the rebellion, and that was kind of it. And then in like this actress that plays Mon Mothma played um played her in Revenge of the Sith, but the scene got deleted.
Oh.
So she was never technically in the movie. So and then she came back for Rogue One, and she was in Rogue One just as a cameo. Um and then she did some voice actor things in the Rebels animated show. And it's like, okay, cool. But in this show, it completely like fleshes out her character, and gives her like a lot to work with. And that actress is amazing as the character. It's like really like home run for her in terms of her evolution playing the character, because she actually got to do something. Um, and like she's never in a scene with anyone from the Empire. Like, you never see her with like an officer or anything, but you feel the weight of the Empire like drowning her, because she's trying to she's being annoying in the Senate. She's saying, no, this isn't good. She is vocally standing up against the Empire in the Senate, but then also she's funding this rebellion on the side.
Hmm.
So the Empire already hates her, and also she's funding something to destroy them. So there's a
Wow.
lot of pressure on her as a character. Um, and
Wow.
then there's Luthen, who is just the best character in the show. And he's kind of the original rebel and the person who's putting this all together. So very
Well,
good show.
I think that Disney should just hire you as their PR person because you're selling this show amazingly. I mean, fantastic stuff. I think a lot of people that maybe weren't necessarily interested in it would definitely check it out now. You know, it's great to hear that there's something that is actually getting
Yeah,
positive reviews,
and
and you
it
know,
sucks because nobody watched it.
yeah.
Like, it's just like, and I understand because I didn't watch it when it came out first. I just did not care. Kenobi came out, ruined Obi-Wan as a character, like completely assassinated him. And I think Kenobi is like the one worst thing I've ever seen. Like, it is just bad. I
Oh,
don't. There's like, I can count on like two fingers things I liked. Um, and it was like that's it. Um, and then like after Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian season 2, nobody cared. And then of course after the sequels, nobody cares about Star Wars. And then you introduce this show about a character in a spin-off movie that died in the movie. Why should we care about this character? Um, and then like in the show, it's like, oh, I care about this guy. And I think there's a character called Nemec. He has this manifesto about the rebellion and like his ideas. And I think he says like, um, it doesn't take just one action, but thousands of actions, and there will be one siege that will collapse the empire or the tyranny. And that's kind of the theme of the show. It's not just one thing that happens. It's not just Luke shooting down the torpedoes into the hatch. It's the hundreds of people who went to steal the plans. It's the other pilots that went on the trench runner with him. It's the thousands of people that built the rebellion. And it really shows all those perspectives. And also the Empire is actually smart in the show. So
wow.
they're actually a force to be reckoned with. So
Well, that's great to hear because I have not partaken in a lot of the uh, Disney series of the Star Wars shows just because I mean I liked Mandalorian just I didn't
yeah,
actually finish season 2 or
Mando
start season 3,
Mando season 2 or Mando season 1 was good. It was fun.
and I am a big Baby Yoda fan. I know we're not supposed to call him that, but I think, you know, if they want to make a movie in the theaters, put Baby Yoda in it and it'll sell tickets, I think, at this point. You need
Yeah,
that
I
something,
think
you
they
know?
know that.
Yeah. I have to say, thank you so much for being on this stream today. Is there anything you want to say about upcoming stuff on your channel?
I'm reviewing Ahsoka mostly because I think Dave Filoni is just so weird as a storyteller. Because he's like he has these characters that are good in the animation, and then he just kind of took everything interesting and took it out and then just made a live action show. Um, so I'm reviewing that, uh, just kind of like looking at his ideas for what live action is. And then I'm working on a Andor video because the 1 year anniversary of that show's coming soon. I think it's like in 15 days. Hopefully I can get that video out. So I'm gonna
Very
work on that
cool.
video. So
And
those are
you
the two
do a
main
live
things I'm doing.
and you have a live stream as well, right? Or is that
Oh
that
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's
Me
two of
and
you?
I co-host with Bagface on
Okay,
Slight
cool.
Tomfoolery on Sundays at 8.
Excellent.
So
Wonderful. Well, everyone that has watched today, definitely subscribe to actually Andrew if you have not. Thank you so much for being such a great guest. And everyone, thanks for stopping by.